Gary from Today I'm going to show you how to make cotton candy floss using our gold medal X15 Whirlwind series. This is our wheel cart model, including a dome. And here's our tabletop model without the dome. The electric cord plugs into regular 120 household current, and note that it's the heavy-duty cord with 3 prongs with a ground plug. Rather than using household appliance extension cords, you'll need a heavy-duty extension cord with a 3-prong hole.
The electric motor requires high amps, so to prevent setting off your breaker, you'll need to allow the machine to have its own independent outlet jack. Your outlet will have to accommodate this 3-pronged plug that comes with a unit. If you're using an extension cord, it's recommended that you use a heavy-duty 20-amp cord that would also require a 3-pronged socket. We offer 2 types of gold medal Whirlwind X15 cotton candy machines, and one of them has a heat range control, and the other one we'll show you in a minute has a rocker switch in the heat area. Okay, first you'll need to remove the pan, and then you'll need to remove the electric cord from the spinning head motor. Okay, go ahead now and replace the pan over the spinning head. Now go ahead and connect your extension cord to the unit's power cord. Remember that the extension cord should not be too long because the unit requires high amperage. Now we're going to take the net that you received and we're going to take the 4 clips off and spread it around the inside of the floss pan and clip it back on. I want to put the clips evenly by just trying to remember clock positions, starting off with where the 2 meet. So I'm going to start at that position, then try to remember a clock as I put them around all the way around on 4 sides. Just remember 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, and then you'll have an even spread. It's recommended that you use a commercially prepared floss mix. The granules will be the right grade to cook properly through the machine, and the flavoring will be correctly proportioned. As seen here, pour the floss mix directly into the spinner head while in the off position. Although the concession professionals instruct that you leave the motor running and aim for the spinner head, this is not recommended for novices. If you do miss the target at any time, you could have quite a mess in your workspace, so it's recommended that you do turn the motor off while pouring.
Okay, next we're going to put in the floss mix sugar. Now what you want to do is pour the sugar directly into the hole of the spinning head. Don't worry about the wires, that's the cooking element. So let's do that now. Let's open up the carton and pour the sugar directly in. Now if you have more than one flavor, you might not want to pour it all the way to the top, and because you'll have to cook it all out before changing flavors. So what I'm going to do is fill it up to around the top, since I'm only using one flavor of this particular mix. For those of you who have the tabletop model, you can move on to the next step from here. But for those of you who have the unit with the dome, now's the time to install it. Now take one of your paper spinning cones, because you're going to need this for the next step. And you might want to roll up your sleeves for this one, or maybe wear an apron, because it's going to get a little messy. What you want to do first is turn the power on, and you'll notice the head start to spin. Now turn your head or back away as the sugar is raw. Now if you're using a Whirlwind 15R unit, you'll need to at first set the power, the heat range up to A, and take your heat control fine tune knob and turn it to the red position on the needle, which is, it goes from 1 to 8. You'll need to put it all the way up to 8. Let me demonstrate that a little closer. Once again, if you'll look over on your left, you'll see the main power switch for the motor. It's just an on and off switch. And the heat range I was talking about is a knob that goes from A to C, A being the hottest, and you can decrease down to C. This is your voltmeter gauge. When you first start out, after you pour the sugar, you want to move the needle into the red starting temperature, somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 120. And to actually cook the sugar, you're going to need it to run in the green cooking zone, which is around 80 to 90 volts. And to achieve that, you'll need to use the fine tuning control knob that goes from 1 to 8, 8 being the hottest. And what you want to do is turn it clockwise to get the needle to go up to the red starting zone. And after you first start to notice the sugar cooking, you'll want to jog the knob down to the green running temperature and keep it on the green the entire time you're cooking the floss mix. And that's for those of you who have the X15R model. For those of you who have the X15A Whirlwind, it's a little bit simpler, but it's the same process. You have the on and off rocker switch rather than a toggle switch, and rather than a knob that has a decreased heat temperature, you just have a rocker switch that's on and off on this particular model. This is not denoted in red and green, so what you want to do when you first start out is be somewhere in the neighborhood of around 100 to 120 volts when you first start, and then down in the 80 to 90 range when you're cooking. And to achieve that, the same method, you have a high and low knob, and you'll go clockwise and then back down counterclockwise to get the needle to where you want to cook the actual sugar. By turning on the toggle switch and putting the heat range all the way up to A on the R model, and turning my fine tuning control knob all the way up to the 8 position so that the needle and the gauge turns red to the red position. And if you'll look up here and start to notice that the floss mix is starting to form, once it starts cooking, you do not want to keep it in the red position, but rather you want to take the needle and jog it down into the green cooking range. Be careful not to put your hand too close to the spinning head, because there are leather fan blades that are little strips that might actually grab you. If you'll notice, the floss mix is starting to form into cotton candy. Now's the time to take your paper cone and start to spin it in your thumb and forefinger like this, and start to spin you a ball of cotton. And you want to do is continue going around in a circle and spinning your fingers around until you grab it off the wall of the pan. So there you have it. Thanks for using our Gold Medal X15 Series cotton candy machine. I'm Gary from RayRents.com.